Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Hearthstone. We're opening more Whispers of the Old God packs. As you can see, we've got 53 left. That's a fair amount, but we're only doing 5 today. So we've seen a few cards. We've seen a few of the same cards. We're yet to build up a pattern of decks that we could potentially build. Definitely we're seeing some fun things that could get used, but after 10 cards we still need something a little bit more substantial. So what we'll do is we'll grab the first pack, we'll pop it over, let it open. You can see all the goo or slime coming down, and then so our very first card in this pack is a rare. So what we'll do is we'll skip past that one and go on to the first uncommon card. Wonderful. So this gives us our Flame Reefed Faceless. Again, we've seen this guy before. Even though he's Overload 2, it's still 4 mana for a 7/7. So if you're playing that on turn 4, at the basic minimum level you can really play him at there, you're going to have next turn 3 mana, or if you've coined you'll have 2 mana. So that's still more than enough mana to actually do something with. So in my opinion, I think this guy is really good for Shamans. Definitely quite an aggressive card. I like it. We'll move down now to our next card and we'll see what we get. So again, we've also seen this guy. It's the Dark Arakoa. Taunt gives your Kafon a nice big buff of +3/+3, 6 mana for a 5/7. Solid enough card, nice buff. Also a taunt, gives you an extra little bit of defense there. So yep, I think that's a good card, being fair. There might be better things out there at the 6 mana mark, but certainly it kind of holds its own. Now, if we go to our next one, let's have a little look here. As you can just see, it's lots of little tiles that Kifun is sitting on. Oh, well, there we go. So certainly we're getting a fairly dark Arakoa deck. Arakoas are bird-like people, by the way. So there's no point in going over this guy again. We'll just jump up. Let's have a look. Now this is 4 mana for a 4/2 with Divine Shield. Also gives Kafun +2/+2. That's actually a really nice card, as a 4/2 is fairly solid, really. Obviously it's got the 2 there, but the fact that it has Divine Shield means you're going to at least get, or most likely you're definitely going to get a trade against it. Now there is a chance that you might not get your value out there, but a 4/2 with Divine Shield, even without the Battle Cry, is a pretty good card. I can see this getting used in Zoo decks that always like to trade up and try and get the most out. So I like this card. It's definitely a good card, even without the Battle Cry. With the Battle Cry, it's even better. Now we have our rare card here. So let's have a look and see. Okay, so this is quite similar to the Forbidden Flame that we've seen a couple of packs, or last episode I believe. So this is Forbidden Ritual. It uses up all of your remaining mana and summons that many 0/1/1 tentacles. That's actually quite a good card, especially when used in combination with what you call the knife juggler. So you could pop knife juggler down, next turn you could have 10, 1, 1, or maybe not as many technicals. I think you only have 8 or 6 minions on board. I'm going to need to actually run and find out, because the last thing you want to do is summon 10 minions, use up all your mana, and only 5 of them will actually be on the board. So yeah, you know, you're talking about 4 or 5 mana for 4 or 5 1/1s. It's not too bad. You might like it to do a little bit of damage, but it can get used along with a few other cards there. So I suppose even if you were to use the Spawn of N'Zoth, that's the one that gives you the +1/+1. And actually, that could be quite useful as Forbidden Ritual along with the Darkshire Councilman. Because didn't you get +1 attack every time you summoned a creature? That could be quite a nice combination here. I like how Warlocks are going so far, as well as Shamans. So let's move on to pack number 2. So we'll start at the uncommon in this corner. We're seeing our Usher of Souls. And this is, we've had one each episode, so there's no need for me to go over it again. But unless you can't remember, it's a fairly solid card, 5 for 5/6. It's a bigger body, got a bit of defense there, can trade off you know, most things. It has an okay addition here with your friendly minions, but really to get its most benefit of, you're going to be having to kind of suicide a lot of minions, and that's never a great idea. So we'll move down here. And we get our second power word, Tentacles. Now this gives a minion +2/+6. Nice solid card. If you can add it onto a taunt minion, for example, you're going to be taking out quite a lot of our enemies. It is expensive at 5 mana, and you always run the risk that a single card will be able to destroy it, such as a corruption, for example. There's other cards that can just destroy individual minions, so you do have to be slightly careful that you don't waste 5 mana a card and get no value out of it. Definitely you will be playing it on the turn that you're going to be actually attacking. So we get our uncommon here. We'll quickly skip past that, and we will get, oh wow, so this is the slightly more aggressive Annoyatron, the Psychotron. It's a 5 mana 3/4 with Taunt and Divine Shield. So that's okay. I think for 6 mana you can get a 4/5. It's a Sunrider, so it's good. It's definitely a lower cost, a version. You can get a 3/5 Taunt Senjin, however it's as good as that, considering the mana is less, but you're getting more health. It's probably on par with the Senjin. Maybe a little bit better just due to the Divine Shield, knowing that you'll be able to absorb at least 1 hit from it. So that's still quite a good card, and it's quite a fun bit of artwork there. Oh, and we get another rare. So we'll open up our first rare, and we see the Klaxi Amberweaver. Now, we've seen this one before. It's a good solid 4/5, we've talked about that before. So just for raw stats, make it comparable to the Yeti, which is a good, standard for a mob, a minion even. However, the Battle Cry, giving you an extra 5 health if one has 10 attack or more, is nice. You're not going to get you might not get your turn 4 value out of it, so it's a 4/10 on turn 4. due to the fact that you do still need to buff your Kafun up, but even so, it is a good card. It might not get the most out of being able to do too much because it doesn't have taunt, so minions aren't forced to share into it, they can just go around it. But I think, I think that's a good card. So let's go to our final rare, and and it's a gold one. Let's have a look. Paladin. Whenever you summon a 1 health minion, give it Divine Shield. It's a good bit outside. Obviously, to make the most of it, you're going to have to spend more than 3 mana to get there. I'm not sure whether you could play it in conjunction with the 5 mana for 5 Silverhand Recruits, and if that would work. Obviously that would be 8 for 6 minions. 5 of them are 1/1s with Divine Shield, but I think that's relatively solid if you can keep it protected. Even putting like I don't think there's any, maybe only 1 or 2 1 health taunts, for example, you could pop after it. But it's an okay card. It has potential. It's also golden, which is nice. It's quite bland artwork, to be fair. I do like the flame effect, but yeah, I'm not going to complain. I'm not sure if it will be used or not. But yes, it's an okay-ish card, really, this one. So now, on to pack number 3. So we'll wait for the slimes to dissipate and slide off. There we go. So we now go down to our bottom right corner. And we get a rogue card, even, goodness me. Shadow Strike. Deals 5 damage to an undamaged character. Now, characters can be heroes or minions. So you're probably not going to get the chance to use it on a hero, to be fair. But that is there, so it's 3 for 5. That's a fairly good card, I think. You should be able to remove most minions out of that, so it's quite a nice card, I think. I think it's our first, no, it's our second rogue one. So this is our uncommon, and this is an uncommon as well. So let's turn over, sorry, that was 2 rares. So we've seen Feral Rage before. Give your hero either +4 attack or +8 armor. There's potential there, but I don't rate it. You're spending 3 mana to get 4 attack. You're not going to use the 3 mana for 8 armor. I would doubt it, because that's all. You don't have anything that you can really use the armor for. It's just like 3 mana for an 8 heal. If you're going to spend 8 mana at that, 3 mana at that point for 8, then you're maybe already in trouble. And oh look, and we have our Dark Harakoa. So you should hopefully remember this from 2 packs ago. Let's not dwell on the details. However, let's just move on and see what we get. So this is a Shaman card, Master of Evolution. Transform a friendly minion into a random one that costs 1 more. That's quite good. So you're in effect, you're potentially buffing up even your own totems. Totems are 2 mana. This is quite a nice card, this actually. Again, it's got your standard 4 for 4/5, so it's automatically an upgrade over a Yeti. You do need to have a minion in play. It's even worth maybe trading off a minion so it's maybe down to 1 or 2 health, or it's been debuffed in some way. Is transforming it should remove it. Of course, you're always guaranteed if you play this and then you turn you turn a 0/2 totem into something like a Doomsayer, which will wipe out your turn. So you'd have to be careful, I suppose, that you might end up getting a bad minion like the Agma Rager, for example. So let's turn over our final rare card. A Sylphid Swarmer. Can only attack if your hero attacked this turn. So obviously this is only going to be able to be used by classes that can easily get hold of a weapon. So your Shamans, Hunters and Rogues and Paladins and Warriors. So, okay, so only, I believe it's only Priests, Warlocks and Mages that don't get weapons now that I think about it. It's doable with a Druid and a Rogue because you constantly have a weapon available for you. However, it is only a free for 3/5, so it's only getting 1 extra health for the downside, so I don't see that as being worth anything really. It's a card that if it was maybe a 4/5, you know, or even a 5/3 perhaps, you know, you could use that, as that would definitely give threat. So like a 5/3 for free that can only attack if your hero attacked. That would definitely be a lot better, but a 3/5 for free mana, there's better cards out there really that could possibly do better. I do think it maybe works best with Druid. You know, if you could maybe add a taunt to it, for example, but I probably wouldn't play it. So now we're on to pack number 4. And this is all the way down here. So we see our next card, which is, oh, let's have a look. It's an evolved kobold. So previously for 2 mana, you get a 2/2 kobold with spell damage +1. This is now 4 mana for 2/2 spell damage +2. It's not going to get used. I think you get the Frozen Snowbolt for like 4 mana for a 2/6. I really can't see any way that you want 2 extra spell damage for 4 mana. It just doesn't seem worth it. That looks like a pretty bad card, being fair. So we'll just quickly jump up and we'll avoid this. At least it's a new card. It's a slightly interesting artwork. Let's have a look at this. So, a 1 mana for a 1/1. Equip a 1/3 Rusty Hook, N'Zoth's First Mate. That looks quite a fun card. It'll definitely help for warriors to get rid of kind of those lower cost kind of aggro minions. That looks okay. I mean, you're definitely going to be able to make use of the 1/3, and that's free damage overall you can take from it, and you can pop it onto whatever really. So that looks to be a fairly decent card, being fair. Whether it's worth it, it is another matter. I mean, it's only a 1/1 for 1 in the end. Wow. So I think we know what that is. So we'll skip it for now. And we get our Spawn of the Zoth. 3 mana for a 2/2. Wonderful. So this is the card. I really like this card. I think it's going to be really good for zoo decks to allow you to buff up, or even kind of Swarm token decks. You know, this will even impact things like Shamans, and you can get +1/+1 on totems, for example, which will get them up to 1/3. So this actually could work quite well, because you naturally will probably think, well, I can ignore some of the totems, but you know, you have to clear them off before you'd clear the spawn. So certainly something to think about. So we'll open our rare. Wow, let's have a look. Battle Cry, Midnight Drake. So that looks 4, gain +1 attack for each other card in your hand. So this is the opposite of the Twilight Drake, which is a 4/1, gain +1 health for each other card in your hand. 4 mana for 4 health is still quite low, to be fair. You don't necessarily want to be doing that, especially because it will be quite a big threat. If you can protect it behind a taunt, which a lot of dragon decks will have, then it could be quite good. This looks to be good really for Dragon Priest, to being fair, because this is another nice big card that they can drop out behind taunts, so that looks to be good, if a little weak on the health there. You're probably talking about a 7/4 on turn 4 potentially. Really good for handlocks, I suppose, as well. So here we have our legendary. It's only our 3rd episode here. So what do you think it could be? What class, or is it going to be neutral? I think it's going to be a hunter legendary. Any guesses? Okay, well, let's just click it and find out. Nat the Dark Fisher. Wow, so that's a pretty bad card. 2 mana for a 2/4. At the start of your opponent's turn, they have a 50% chance to draw an extra card. You know, it's 2 mana, it's a 2/4. You know, for 2 mana you can get 2 frees, so you're getting 1 extra health for, you know, your opponent getting extra cards. That's pretty bad legendary, being honest. I can't see any. If it was a 0, you know, that might have been a bit more fun, or even a 1. But really, 2/4, you're getting absolutely no semblance of value out of that card. So definitely a legendary, which I doubt I'll be using, unless I can find a very, very fun way, such as it being a mill deck, for example, which is where you try and get too many cards in your opponent's hands. So unfortunately, Nate, you hopefully won't be your only legendary, but certainly I don't see you popping up much. So let's move on. And this is our final pack of this episode. Wow, so we've got our epic here. Wonderful. We've got a rare here. We're going to get a full house in the legendary. Another epic. Oh, and here we get an uncommon. So we get a little tentacle when it's off. Death Rattle, deal 1 damage to all minions, 1/1. See, it looks to be quite good for warrior decks, maybe even kind of anti-aggro decks. So it's a fairly okay-ish card, nothing special. There might be more benefits to it. So we move on to our next card. There's only 2 uncommons here. And we get an Aberrant Berserker. So this is quite similar to the 2/3 Enraged Berserker. This is an Aberrant Berserker. 4 mana for a 3/5, takes damage, and he turns into a 5. You know, 4, 3, 2, 1, whatever. This doesn't stack, so it won't keep on going up. But if he does kill a minion, then he's turned into, you know, or he takes damage, you know, for example, from a technical, then he's turning into a 5/4 for 4 mana. Which actually, when you think about it, if you wanted a 5/4, there's actually cards out there that are 5/4 for 4 mana, or 5 mana maybe, I'm not sure. So it's quite a bad card actually. It's too high a mana cost for its eventual use, you know, and even then it's already taken damage, so not a great card unfortunately, the Aberrant Berserker. So we'll open up our rare, and we see another Sylphid Swarmer. Again, we've talked about this chappy little bug. Again, you've 3/5 for 3 mana. You know, he's exactly the same as Aberrant Berserker, just 1 mana less. So you kind of think to yourself, you know, for 1 mana more, this guy actually can attack any turn, but he also enrages for only 1 mana. This is just nothing but a downside. So unless I'm missing something with the wording here, or that there's a link with other cards, the Sylphid Swarmer is pretty bad. So go to our first epic, and we will have a wee look here. So let's turn it over, and we get the Forbidden Flame. So I've seen this one before. Possibly there's quite a few other Forbiddens. So you know, there might be, for example, a Forbidden Heal. There could be a Forbidden Armor Up. I can't think of anything else. A Forbidden Forest for Druids. Not really sure. So yeah, if it was to a character rather than a minion, this would be a lot better. It'll be multi-use, but because it's only a minion, I'm sceptical whether you'd see much play from Forbidden Flame. So let's go to our last epic and turn it over. This is the last one in the pack and the episode, so let's see what we get. So we get for 4 mana a 1/1 Twilight Summoner. And Death Rattle, summon a 5/5 Faceless Destroyer. So it's one of these cards that if you can buff it up, it might be quite potent. Obviously you can always just attack with it. It's an AoE preventer. It is expensive. You know, maybe having a 1/1 for free for a 4/4 would be better. But then I suppose it would be very similar. I suppose it's a slightly more expensive, when I say slightly, it's 2 mana more expensive, the Rubian Egg, which is now rotated out of standard. So it's a good anti-AoE, but it's slow because of that 4 mana. So you're only popping a 1/1 body down for 4 mana, whereas what made in the Rubian Egg, which was a 0/2, Death Rattle, summon a 4/4 in the Rubian. What made that good was that you could put it out on turn 2. It was easy. It was, you know, a clean drop. Didn't have to worry about anything afterwards. This is 4 mana, so that you're not able to play this until at least turn 3, and even then, technically speaking, you're at turn 4, you're getting a 5/5 because you're attack. So you're not getting a huge amount of value out of it. It is potentially okay, but it's one of these ones that you may be better combining with you know, other cards to, you know, stop it from just being ignored, really. But there you go then. So that was episode 3. We've seen our first legendary, we've seen epics, we've seen some wonderful cards, and we've seen quite a lot of Dark Aragorns and Sylphid Swarmers. So in the meantime, everybody, thanks very much for watching. Make sure you all have a great day now. Take care, and